Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, to all the sages and saints of this world, and to you divine souls watching this satsang. Today we are studying Sutra number 4 of the Sadhana Pad from the Raja Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Commentary by my worshipful Guru, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So today we are studying Sutra number 4, which is Avidya Kshetra Muttaresham Prashupta Tanu Vichinna Udaranam. Let's repeat. Avidya Kshetra Muttaresham Prasupta Tanu Vichinna Udaranam. So avidya means ignorance, kshetram is the field, uttaresham is the afflictions that follow ignorance, and prashupta means it's in a dormant state. Tanu means it's thinned out, attenuated state. Vichinna means overpowered, and Udaram is fully expanded. So what is the meaning? It means that with ignorance as the field, source the affliction. Source of the afflictions is avidya or ignorance. So it exists in these 4 states, this ignorance. And that is why we keep on going through this cycle of life and death, because we are never able to destroy the ignorance. So think of Ramayana. Lord Rama is the soul and Ravana is the ignorance, and unless you can cut it out totally, the battle will never be over. Same thing with us. We will continue the cycles of life and death unless we are able to root out the tree. Just shaking it is not going to help. The whole tree has to be rooted out. So therefore the root of ignorance has to be attacked and pulled out with our self-effort and divine grace. So these 4 states that exist have to be controlled: dormant, attenuated, overpowered, and fully expanded. So ignorance is the source of these afflictions, as we just talked about. Egoism, attachment, hatred, and clinging to life, all these are the result of ignorance. They exist in the dormant state or prashupta state in children. When you are born, for example, one notices that as the child grows, the afflictions slowly begin to appear. So it didn't mean that the child, that's why they say child is innocent. Yes, at that state, because all these, the ignorance is dormant. It is not sprouted yet, if so to speak. They also exist in the dormant state whenever you sleep. Therefore you are calm. No matter how much stress you have, once you sleep, you are calm. And therefore when you sleep, all this goes back, all your stress and all these things go back into the dormant state. And during pralaya also, when the cosmic involution is happening, the same thing happens. The ego goes into a dormant form. So ignorance or avidya. In yogis who have practiced Kriya Yoga and who have advanced on the path of meditation and Samadhi, the kleshas are attenuated, thinned out, but their root has not yet been removed. So therefore the problem has not been, you have cut a branch of the tree, you have not taken out, you have not pulled out the tree, so the branch will grow again over time. So if the spiritual sadhana is slackened, the mind, which is apparently pure and tranquil, will soon be overcome by the kleshas and their numerous ramifications. So therefore the stress of regular practice and consistent practice. So even if you think you're feeling calm and peaceful, don't be under the deluded impression that you have attained self-realization and now you have become a great yogi and you start walking around like you own the world, because what will happen is you have not ripened to the point where the tree has been rooted out. Only the branch has been cut. So when you go out in the world, the same old world will attack you with double force, and you, if you are not cautious, if you are not strong in your sadhana, soon it will overpower you once again. And as we all know, this is not an easy journey. So your tapasya, if you are persistent and you are keeping up with your sadhana, your prayers, your mantra japa, your meditation, then you are maintaining that state and not letting other things come up, and therefore you will advance. For this reason, we say this is a constant process that is required. In most people, the kleshas exist in the vichinna or overpowered state. In one form of impression is suppressed by another opposing form of impression. So it is not gone, but you have superimposed something on it. So for example, when a person is in a loving mood, the impressions of hatred are in the overpowered state, and during the mood of hatred, the impressions of love are overpowered by hatred. So it's not like they have gone away. That's why we sometimes show hatred and sometimes show love, because they are superimposed. And when love is kindled, all good qualities of a person are remembered, right? When you are feeling very lovey-dovey. But when the hatred dominates, all negative points of the same person are recalled by the mind. So when you are in a very joyous, in a very loving mood, everything feels good, and then when you are fighting, you start getting frustrated and speak things that you regret later, isn't it? So that's what we are talking about here. So while hating, love continues to exist, and while loving, hating continues to exist. When the afflictions operate without any restriction, they are called udara or expanded. When one feels tender sentiments towards the friend, the afflictions of raga or attachment is in the expanded state, or overwhelming emotions, for example, that is udara, while the affliction of dvesha or hatred is also the overpowered state. So raga and dvesha, when it takes extreme states, that is called expanded or very visible states. So by the practice of yogic sadhana, one brings about the attenuated states of the kleshas. So the first goal is to try to bring them to a point where they are normalized. So from udara, expanded, you bring them to a more controllable level. It is only during the highest form of samadhi that the veil of ignorance is removed. So it will not happen overnight. We have to keep on, because this has been going on for who knows how many embodiments. You know, the chitta is constantly being impacted by all the karmas and actions we do. So therefore that veil is removed, and the kleshas are completely destroyed through the fire of knowledge. That is asampragyata samadhi. That's when you get to the seedless state. So you will have to study the Sadhana Pad, and that has already been completed in chapter 1 for those of who are just watching this video. I strongly urge all everybody, actually, whether you're spiritual or not, because these things are meditation and helping your, it's like an instruction manual of your life, and if you're doing it properly, you will improve in every dimension of your life, everyone, worldly as well as spiritual. So therefore it makes a lot of common sense to try to do these things. And this state termed dagda avastha, or the burnt up state, exists only in liberated sages, and it's a liberated state, like we talked about in Samadhi Pad, when you burn the seed of karma, therefore the seed will never sprout. We had talked about this in the previous sutras. That state is called Jivan Mukti, or liberated in life. So the kleshas will be defined in the next sutra, sutra number 5. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.